Well, again, welcome everyone to this State of the City address, and we've already recognized so many people that have made this event happen with the Chamber of Commerce, all our sponsors, our city staff, Simple Elegance. There's so many people that have to come together to make an event like this happen. So thank you very much. I will say to Danielle, I think we need to relook the schedule of the State of the City next year, because the same week as the Oscars and a presidential address to Congress, that's a hard one to follow. So, but I can guarantee you what I'm going to tell you today is probably a whole lot more relevant to your daily lives than what you've heard the rest of the week. But, well, I'll just start off here. 2024 was another great year for San Ramon. You know, our residents, they love our city. It's a safe city, a beautiful city. They enjoy their neighborhoods and our high quality of life. We got great schools, great parks, and plenty of things to do. Today I want to take you through some of the things that we've been doing over the past year and talk about some of the things that are going to be ongoing into the future. And first I'm going to start off with some facts about the city. I've got a few slides on that. There we go. All right. I'll just start off to mention our population is right around 85,000. You know, we're the fourth largest city in Contra Costa County, behind Concord, Richmond, and Antioch. We're the largest city in the Tri-Valley currently. And then on this next slide, this shouldn't surprise you too much either in terms of our demographics. But what is interesting is that this slide, had we shown this 25 years ago, would have looked a whole lot different. But it does reflect that we are definitely growing in our diversity. I got a couple slides that talk about what our city takes care of. I'll just highlight, we've got 58 beautiful parks. We've got about 50,000 trees we take care of. Our 4 community centers, we've got our senior center, we've got the Doherty Station Community and Arts Center, and then 2 traditional community centers. And as well as 2 libraries. Now, the reason I bring this up, these are things that cost a lot of money to take care of. So, and I'm going to talk more about our budget here in a moment. And then we've got, I'll just highlight on this one here, how many sprinkler heads do you have at your house? I mean, we've got over 440,000 sprinkler heads. So again, just highlighting some of the infrastructure and some of the facilities that we've got in and around your neighborhoods. This all helps us maintain a really high quality of life. And again, this takes some money to take care of all that. Now, I want to just briefly mention our 6 goals. Our city council gets together every year and we review and revise these 6 goals. We did this last month, and this kind of kicks off our budget development process. And these are 6 goals that are above and beyond the day-to-day types of things that we do to deliver services. They're not in any kind of a priority order. They're just listed there for clarity. But a common thread that ties them all together is something I talked a lot about during the campaign season last year, that our city provides a great quality of life, and we do this in a safe environment, and we try to do this in a way that is protecting of our existing neighborhoods and our retail spaces and our beautiful open spaces as well. So let's talk about a little bit about what we've done in the last year and some of the things that are coming up. And I gotta start by talking about the budget, right? It's a thing that's on everybody's mind, sort of the elephant in the room. As the city got into the budget process last year, we found ourselves facing a $17.6 million gap between our projected revenues and then what it takes to deliver all our great services and programs. That gap was about 17% of our total general fund amount. That's pretty significant. Now, this was mainly due to increases in expenditures that have been growing over several years. Things like rising costs in utility payments, the maintenance of our beautiful parks and roads, insurance, contract costs, and other things that affected the city in the same way it affected all of you as residents. and yet meanwhile our revenues continue to maintain relatively flat. So to help balance the budget, the city approved $8.1 million in cuts across all of our city departments. We unfunded a lot of vacant positions. That saved us about $2.1 million. And then we enhanced some revenues by increasing some user fees. That added about $1.5 million in revenue. But we spent hours in budget workshops figuring out how to balance the budget and what to cut. And some of the things we cut are listed here on the slide. That's not all inclusive, but that's a lot of the things that we cut. The council also reviewed options for bringing in additional revenues, and we finally voted, it was a hard decision, but we finally voted to put a 1% sales tax measure on the November ballot to give you, the residents, the opportunity to weigh in and tell us how important it was for you to have us maintain all this quality of services and programs. So I'm pleased to report that Measure N, that was the ballot measure, that passed with over 50% of the required vote. That will bring in an additional 1% through different sales transactions and use purchases. That'll start effective April 1st. Of course, our current sales tax rate is 8.75. That'll go up to 9.75. We're going to start seeing the first revenue from that come in starting in June. And our estimated revenue from that should be about, right now we're projecting $15.2 million annually. That's slightly lower than the initial projection that we had. So, but the city is still approaching this budget season with a lot of caution and restraint. You know, we typically budget very conservatively. We tend to overestimate our expenditures and underestimate our revenues. But with some of the actual mid-year numbers coming in recently, and with the projected funds for Measure N that we're expecting, the council chose to restore some of the budget items that we had at mid-year and that we had cut during last year's budgeting process. Most of the mid-year budget adjustments are based on expected funds from Measure N, since they're going to be either roles or programs that have an ongoing, enduring cost to them. But the city is going to continue to update the public through our different public meetings and budget meetings and workshops as we go forward. In terms of an outlook, the city is approaching this upcoming budget as a baseline year, you know, without adding a whole lot of new expenditures. We're going to have to figure out how to live within our means. We're going to have to operate more efficiently, and we're going to have to make sure that the expenditures that we do have are consistent and support the goals that the council has come up with. So what we want to see are the revenues from Measure N in real terms. You know, what does it really mean when we start seeing this money come in? And we're also looking to shore up some of our deferred maintenance funding. That's been set aside for things like facilities and equipment and road paving and things like that. You know, I also want to mention the city has a reserve policy. We try to maintain 36% of our prior year's expenditures and keep it in a reserve fund account. We're going to be reviewing that policy and evaluate if that's the right level to have. Maintaining that high amount in a reserve fund ties up a lot of taxpayer dollars. But we have to balance that with what we need to kind of keep on hand as a rainy day fund in case there is a major disaster. So we're going to be looking at that. I also want to mention staffing because last year we had a lot of folks who thought, well, if you want to save some money, you want to, why go with a revenue measure? We can just cut staff. They're very expensive. True, that staff is expensive. The city is bringing in some outside experts. We're going to evaluate our efficiency. We're doing an organizational audit, and this evaluation of our current service delivery is going to help us identify ways that the city can build foundation for a sustainable fiscal future. And just as a reminder, you know, when you cut staff, you're really cutting services. So you got to be cautious with that and go about it in a smart way. And you may recall from the many financial outlook presentations that were given last fall that we had only 284 authorized positions in the city staff. And as you see on the slide there, that's significantly lower than the other cities around us, especially given their population. And it's just amazing what our city staff is able to do with the number of people they have and deliver the quality of services and programs that they do. I want to transition now to the topic of safety. You know, recently there's been a lot of interest in our local preparation for wildfire response, especially in light of the LA fires. And the city has got a great partnership with the San Ramon Valley Fire Protection District that helps us to manage risk. We do create fire breaks in our open spaces. We have contracts for cattle grazing to keep the grass low on our hills out there in the open space. We've recently partnered with the Chamber of Commerce and brought in some representatives from the California Department of Insurance, and they've talked about the risk profile of our area, and then also some things that are happening at the state level. And at my urging last week, we had the fire district come in and talk to the city council and the public and let them know what they're doing to keep us safe. And the fire district also recently spoke at the chamber roundtable that was held last week, just to let some of our business partners know as well. So we'll be having other partners come in and talk to not just the council, but to the public about, such as our water districts, to talk about, you know, what are the things that they're doing to prepare for fires and what their service levels are. The city also participates in legislative advocacy at the state and the national level. And we do this with our partners with other cities in the Tri-Valley. And so wildfire prevention, mitigation, and insurance rates continue to be topics that are priorities for all of us in our coalition. Also want to bring to your attention that the state just published their new fire maps, and these show the fire hazard severity zones. There's a 120-day comment period on this, and some of the areas on this map for San Ramon are in the high or very high range. So I encourage you to go to the website that's listed there and provide comment. Move now and talk about some other safety things. You know, first I'll just say, thanks to Denton Carlson, our San Ramon Police Department. They do a great job. They keep our neighborhoods safe, they keep our streets safe, and they also keep our local businesses and our shoppers safe. You'll recall in 2023, the police department was awarded a $5.6 million grant that focused on suppressing organized retail theft. And that enabled the department to dedicate a team exclusively to reducing retail theft, but just for 3 years. There was enough funding for that. So we're going to have to figure out if and how we sustain this going on into the future. That team's established relationships with many of our San Ramon major retailers, and they've collaborated with other area agencies and participated in some large fencing takedowns in some adjacent jurisdictions. You know, area retailers have expressed a deep gratitude for the impact of this team locally. You know, Ulta recently published this following blurb here. Ulta Beauty recently recognized the San Ramon Police Department as the most effective police department task force in Northern California. The San Ramon ORT task force has closed 30% of all ORT Ulta cases across Northern California, demonstrating unmatched regional impact. So they're making a difference. And that's just one of our major retailers, but clearly they're making a difference, and we definitely all appreciate that. I also want to mention that we've also been able to implement a new drone as a first responder program. So under this model, drones are able to respond to calls, just like officers, just like other responders who are on patrol. And they can often arrive on scene in just minutes. So when our dispatch receives a priority 1 or a priority 2 call, that remote pilot can dispatch the drone, and then that initiates a response to any location within the operational area. So, and then upon arriving on the scene, the remote pilot can fully control the aircraft, take control of the camera, record the incident. It provides a live video feed, and it gives valuable situational awareness of the incident to the responding officers. And this can save valuable time and clarify the type of response that our officers need to be prepared for when they arrive. Another area that's important that people are talking about lately is mental health. The city has an ongoing partnership with Contra Costa County and area cities on mental health services through the A3 Crisis Response Initiative. This is a program that stood up the 24/7 Miles Hall Crisis Call Center and helps people who are experiencing a mental health emergency through different calls and field visits. Our city police department also partners with the fire district in another program, and that's a behavioral health response program. And this adjusts the response pattern for certain calls of service related to behavioral health issues. And this is really a firefighter first program. So generally the goal is to increase the efficiency, remove the police from the mental health calls to reduce the stress of that situation. So mental health calls in this program are treated as a medical concern, which can be better addressed by fire personnel. And the fire personnel are dispatched first when there's no immediate danger, although our police department will be standing by as backup. And through this change, both organizations are better serving and increasing treatment avenues for those in the midst of a behavioral health crisis. So overall, it's improved the care for those in a mental health crisis. It's allowed our PD to stay out of mental health calls when it's safe to do so, and it frees up our police for them to be available for other police service calls. And in many cases, our highly trained dispatchers are able to hand off the 911 calls over to the Miles Hall Crisis Call Center, and that frees up fire personnel to be able to do what they need to do for other emergencies. I'm going to move now to talk about the Iron Horse Trail. You've seen the progress. It started back in May of 2023. That's going to help improve safety for our pedestrians and our bicyclists. That bridge will also include a dedicated bike lane on it, and it's expected to eliminate up to 3 hours of red light stoppage on Bollinger Canyon Road. So it's on track to be finished this summer, so we're excited about that. There's a second overcrossing planned for Crow Canyon Road. That bridge is currently in the design phase. We got a $2 million grant to do the design on that. And we'd asked the residents in a survey, you know, what kind of bridge do you want there? And the survey results came back with a butterfly arch type bridge, as you see there on the screen. And I also want to thank Supervisor Anderson, who's here with us this afternoon. She recently secured some funding for the design phase of a dual tracking project on the Iron Horse Trail. And that'll be between Bollinger Canyon Road and Crow Canyon Road. This exciting program, that's going to be the first of its kind in the county, and that's going to safely separate wheeled resources and pedestrians along the trail, and that should be a model for similar projects in the future within the county. All right, Crow Canyon widening is done. Yes. There's a few things they're still working on, but really it's largely done, and that was all a requirement from the Doherty Valley Settlement Agreement way back in 1994. And I'll just note that that was paid with by developer funds. That was not city funds that paid for that project. And the city was able to add in an additional lane of travel in each direction, as well as some buffered bike lanes and a wider walking path. And I know we're all glad to see that one completed. I'll highlight just a couple other transportation and infrastructure improvements. The city installed some new rectangular rapid flashing beacons, or RRFB, as you see on the screen here. We did that at 2 crosswalks and also upgraded 6 additional crosswalks with the RRFBs, and that'll help increase pedestrian safety at those crosswalks. And as part of our bicycle master plan, city implemented an additional 2 miles of bike lane improvements consisting of sharrows and buffered bike lanes that'll improve some of the bicycle safety. Just moving on to transportation improvements and some other programs for quality of life. If you're not aware, our seniors can use our senior van express service. It picks you up from either your home or the transit center, and it'll go to and from the transit center for only $5. Riders can also now connect to BART through County Connection, as they've been able to do before from the transit center, but also using the new Wheels Bus Route 4 that stops at Stagecoach Road and Alcosta right by our senior center. We've got another service called Go San Ramon. That's provided by County Connection, and that'll pay half of a fare for an Uber or a Lyft ride, up to $5 when you ride anywhere in the San Ramon service area. Let me talk about roads real quick. The San Ramon's current pavement condition index for the 509 miles of roads that we've got is 78, and that's well into the good category. The Bay Area average is only fair at 67, so we're doing okay. The Metropolitan Transportation Commission in the Bay Area recently published local pavement scores, and it ranked San Ramon as number 15 out of 109 cities in the Bay Area. And I'll just have to say, though, that last year, due to our budget challenges, we did have to reduce some of the funding for our pavement management program, so our score may drop this year, but we hope to be able to restore some of the funding for that program this year as well. All right, moving on, talk about some recreation and services. You know, there are a lot of things coming to a neighborhood near you. What we've got on the slide here is Sunrise Ridge. That's up on the hill by Feria in the northwest part of San Ramon. This has got 13 acres, this new park. It's got a beautiful view from up on top. There's toddler and elementary playgrounds, lighted synthetic fields for baseball, softball, lacrosse, and soccer. Got sports courts for tennis and bocce and basketball, shaded picnic areas, a rose garden, a walking trail. It's going to be a great addition for that neighborhood, but not just for that neighborhood, but for all of us within San Ramon. And some other recent improvements include the installation of a new cricket pitch over at Quail Run Elementary School. We've got a new play structure at Ramona Park, and we just completed the replastering of the San Ramon Olympic Pool lap lanes, and that's over at Cal High. And then finally, nearing completion is Critter Crossroads Park. That's located over in Doherty Valley near Gale Ranch Middle School. That's going to have a couple playgrounds, baseball and softball field, sand volleyball court, shaded group picnic area, and more. It's anticipated to open late this coming summer. Moving on to some of the community events and gathering spaces. Of course, our Art and Wind Festival continues to be very popular. We recently had the Culture and Community event at the newly renovated Doherty Station Arts Community Arts Center. You know, that facility has really changed. It's got an updated dance studio and art gallery. We added a green room for performers, 6 new artist studios, and 2 sound studios. We also continue to host a lot of our fun runs, the 4th of July run, the Bah Humbug run, as well as we have some great summer concerts and events over at our Performing Arts Center and the Front Row Theater. And just there's so many activities for all of our San Ramon residents to enjoy. Our residents, of course, enjoy our libraries, but they also love our arts of all kinds. We've got over 50 pieces of public art in the city. We just dedicated a new colorful and dynamic public art piece over at the San Ramon Library. And then in May, there will be a huge 13-foot bronze eagle that will go in up at Memorial Park. We're really excited about that. If you want to take a virtual tour of all the different art that we have, or just figure out where they are and go visit them, there's a URL there on the screen. I encourage you to do that. So in addition to the strong partnership I mentioned with the fire district, we've got strong partnerships also, of course, with the school district and the Chamber of Commerce, and also with many of our cultural groups. Each year we support the school district's Run for Education. We partner with several cultural nonprofits and Bishop Ranch, of course, for a diverse array of events such as Durga Puja, the Maya Bazaar, the Holi Celebration, Diwali, the Christie Yamaguchi Ice Rink, holiday tree lighting, menorah lighting, Lunar New Year celebrations, and a host of other things. That something always seems to be going on over at Bishop Ranch and with our local cultural nonprofits. The city's also partnered with the county in another area, and that's the newly opened South County Family Justice Center. That's available to our San Ramon residents. This new facility is in Danville, but it helps our San Ramon residents who might be experiencing either domestic abuse or child or elder abuse or sexual trauma or human trafficking. It provides resources for safety, healing, and community. And I just want to thank again Supervisor Anderson for bringing this valuable resource to South County. Okay, moving on to development. Last year the city completed its update of the general plan and the zoning ordinance. We're also in the process of updating our climate action plan. I mentioned at the beginning that we have this vision to preserve our existing neighborhoods, and the council has chosen long ago to prioritize most of the state-mandated housing development in the city core area, and that helps to preserve our retail areas, our commercial areas, and open space. But especially it protects our existing neighborhoods. This concept provides more walkability. It gets some of the cars off the roads in our existing neighborhoods, and it improves quality of life. So some of the projects that we completed last year include the Aspenwood Apartments. That's located in South San Ramon at the corner of Alcosta and Kimball. It's 123 100% affordable senior apartments. And it's already fully occupied. Priority was given to those who live and work in San Ramon, as well as veterans and first responders, public service employees, and persons with disabilities. And then Belmont Village, that was mentioned by Alex Mann earlier. That's a new luxury senior living facility. It's located across, over on Boulder Canyon Road across from City Hall. It's got 177 units. We did that ribbon cutting last week, and it offers independent living, assisted living, and memory care for a growing part of our population, not just in San Ramon, but across the county, and that's our seniors. There are 5 projects with visible progress in construction, and the first one I'll talk about is Twin Oaks. That's used to be known as the Neighborhood 5 up in the Faria Preserve area up on the hill in northwest San Ramon. That's 162 units for sale. All the building permits have been issued for that, and full occupancy is expected later this year. And then City Village, that was mentioned earlier as well, over in that was over in the BR6 office area at the corner of Camino Ramon and Executive Parkway. That's been opening in phases since the spring of 2024. More than 150 building permits have been issued so far, and that development will have 404 units, with 20 of those being affordable, and of course it'll have a 2-acre park on the corner that'll be open to the public. Another project that's ongoing now is Iron Horse Village. That's located at the corner of Alcosta and Crow Canyon Road. That's over right next to the post office. That plan includes 117 for-sale units, with 6 of those being affordable. You probably noticed the site demolition is ongoing and almost complete on that, and we'll start to see the construction soon on that. And then there's Truemark Homes. These are townhomes over on Deerwood Drive in northwest San Ramon. That's 61 units that'll be for sale. The site construction on that's already begun, and that's estimated to be complete by late 2026. And then finally, I'll mention the Pradera Apartments. We initially this was called the Deer Creek South. That's over near the Doherty Station Community and Arts Center, and that's being constructed and inspected by Contra Costa County, and the city's best estimate for that will be, for that completion will be in the next couple of months, and then we'll likely soon after that annex that into the city. And there's several other projects that have already been approved in the city core and northwest San Ramon area. Those will generally be higher density, taller facilities, and we may see some of those starting this year. And I need to mention the orchards. Alex mentioned that earlier. You know, you heard that Chevron moved its corporate headquarters to Houston. So Sunset now owns that 91-acre Chevron Park campus at Bishop Ranch there off of Bollinger Canyon Road. Sunset had given several presentations over the past year on their vision for that property. There's been a lot of public meetings and meetings before the City Council and the Planning Commission, and opportunities for the public and the community to comment. They did submit formal project applications back in November, and that's all in the staff review process right now. And then later this year, a public review process is expected to begin, and there'll be multiple opportunities for the public to comment on that proposal. You can see some of the things that are included in that proposal: some mixed-use retail and entertainment, some additional types of housing, park, and then a buffer area with the Inverness Park community in the south. All right, moving on to some tourism and business development. The city continues to collaborate with organizations that promote tourism and business development. We've been talking tonight, this afternoon, about the Chamber of Commerce. Of course, they've got their Shop San Ramon program that helps to support our local businesses, keeps the sales tax local. You know, we tend to get less sales tax revenue than other cities around us. So, you know, we've got a lot of retail leakage. Please shop in San Ramon. We need those tax dollars. But they've also been supporting businesses with a lot of ribbon cuttings lately. We've got a lot of new businesses, non-retail, as well as, you know, some restaurants and things like that. And then, of course, we partner with Discover San Ramon. You heard their video earlier this afternoon, and they've got a great marketing campaign to bring in visitors into our hotels and into our community. So there's a lot happening in San Ramon. If you want to stay updated, there's a lot of ways you can do that. You know, we have our quarterly city report. We've got recreation guides. Those come right to your home. There's no need to sign up for that. And you can get extra copies of that at any of our city facilities. And if you want to learn about things like our different public meetings, committee meetings, upcoming events, you can sign up for our newsletters. There's a link to do that on the screen. You can pick and choose what things you want to be informed about, and that stuff will be pushed to you, that information. And then for emergency alerts, you should sign up for Nixle. You can text your zip code to 888-777. You can do that not only for you, but for your loved ones. You can type in their zip code, and then information about what's going on in their area, if there's an emergency, will be texted to you. And then for other emergency alerts, you can sign up for the county warning system. On your program, there's some QR codes. So there's information here on the screens, but they're also on your program. You can use those QR codes to sign up. Now, we also push out information through social media, so sign up for those things. And then all of our council and commission meetings are all streamed live on YouTube. We also have recordings of those that are available on our website, and you can always get audio recordings of our different advisory committee meetings that you can find on our website as well. So there's lots of ways to get involved. If you want to get involved in what's going on in the city, you can see some of those on the screen here. You can volunteer with one of our city foundations, and these are the independent nonprofits that support our city events and programs and facilities. You can sign up to be on one of the advisory boards or a commission or one of our committees, or take some of the free classes that we offer, super classes if you haven't done those. And you can also be a city volunteer. We've got our City Lights program. There's plenty of opportunities for people of all ages and a host of opportunities. So just to kind of bring it to a close here, I'll just say, I get this feedback all the time. Our residents love our city. We've got a great quality of life. We've got excellent services and programs. You've let us know what's important to you. We've listened to you. We've begun the city budgeting process already this year, and we're on track to balance the budget this year again. With the community's support, we've been able to restore some services and programs thanks to Measure N, and we'll continue to deliver those services that you value the most. And we'll also continue to thoughtfully plan for how we're going to take care of that required state mandated growth. We're going to focus most of that in the city core area. That's going to go a long way towards protecting our existing neighborhoods. So with that, I'll just say San Ramon continues to be a great place to live, to work, to play, to raise a family. And thank you all for being here today. Thanks for your attention.